Hi everyone, it's Sue Plum here to share another scrapbooking process video with you. Now today's layout is the third layout that I am creating for Kitaholic Kits this month as a guest designer using the November scrapbook kit, and I am also using the mixed media add-on kit. So for my layout, I am actually documenting a photo of my boys that was taken at the beach on their 8th birthday. So for this layout, I decided to create a bit of a watercolor background. Given that we're at the beach, I wanted to have a bit of a watery vibe. So I'm actually working with my Distress Oxides there. So the two colors I was working with was Salty Ocean, of course, and Tumbled Glass. So I simply swiped my ink pads onto my messy mat there, activated them with a bit of water, swished them around with my finger, and then I just laid the cardstock over the top to pick up the colour. And then I repeated the process for the second colour. Now, anybody that knows me knows that Distress Oxides are one of my absolute favourite mediums to work with. I love the fact that you can layer colour upon colour upon colour without the first one sort of reactivating with the water, and you don't make mud with them basically. I like the fact that you can still see the distinctive colours while you can also get the colours working together. So for this layout, as I said, I had my watercolour background, and then I was choosing some papers to work with to sort of layer up over the centre of my page. So I was actually working with the last piece of the wood grain paper from the Crepe Paper Marigold collection. I was using the Heidi Swap old school papers. So I actually decided with that striped paper there, which actually had that 90-degree sort of square pattern on it, just to work with the blue tones that were on the edge of the paper. And with the other paper with the tiger head on it, I just wanted to cut off a black strip sort of to run underneath and anchor those layers. And then I was also cutting a black mat just to help my photo pop off from the page a bit. And also because one of my sons was wearing a black shirt there. So it just helped to tie that black colour in. So you can see that I am working largely in a horizontal type design there. You can see I've got the stripes running horizontally across the page. I've also got that black strip running horizontally across the page. And one of the reasons I chose to go with this sort of design was because of the strong horizontal line of the horizon in the background behind them. And I just wanted to carry that through in my design. So once I sort of had a rough idea of the papers that I was working with, I wanted to go back and add another layer onto my background. So I actually chose the Ranger Stickles glitter gel that's in this month's mixed media kit. And I chose one of the stencils from the Vicky Booten Storyteller range. And I just used that with a palette knife, and just as you would with any texture paste. And I just swiped the glitter gel through the stencil into 3 spots on the background of my layout, just over the top of where I already had put the colour. So I took that off camera and just used a heat gun to sort of dry it off. One thing I will say about this medium is it takes a little bit more drying time than some sort of texture pastes that you work with. I think this is obviously due to the nature of the product, so it didn't dry quite as quick. Probably also because putting it on with a stencil, it did go on quite a lot thicker than if you were to just smear it on the page or paint it on with a brush or whatever. So just bear that in mind. And it will be, when you dry it with the heat gun, it will feel a little bit tacky to the touch at first while it's still warm, but once it cools down, it will lose that tack. So once I had the glitter gel down on the background, I went back and started fiddling with my papery layers again, just getting everything in place. Now, you'll see that I'm actually fixing my layers of paper to the page using tape. Ordinarily, I would get all of my papers in a stack like this and just use a long arm stapler and just staple the layers together. But unfortunately, my long arm stapler has finally gone to stapler heaven, and I have a new one on the way, but it hasn't arrived yet. So that is why I am working with the tape. So once I had those papery layers in place, you can see that I'm using my T-square there just to ensure that those horizontal lines are straight on the page. I don't always bother being this precise, but when you have stripes on a page like that, or something bold like that strong black line there, you always want to make sure it's straight. You want to make sure it's straight. You want to make sure your photo's straight, because otherwise when you go back to photograph it, it's going to look terrible. So besides the paper layers, I've also got a paper doily out of my stash. I've got some frayed gauze that I've pulled out just to add some soft texture to the page. And I've also put some cardboard on the back of my photo just to help pop it up from those layers. Oh, look at my boys. They are so cute. One good thing about my kids, I must say, is they are very easily pleased. My kids like the simple things in life. They didn't want anything over the top for their birthday. All they asked for their birthday, what we were going to do on the day, is can we go and have a picnic at the beach? You've got to love that. Easy. We just packed the esky, threw a heap of stuff in the car, and off we went down to the beach. We even discovered that our buckets and spades, which were quite old, were pretty broken. The buckets had cracks and stuff in them, so we just took ice cream containers, and they were quite happy building sandcastles with that, and they thought it was the best day ever. So, yeah, I love how easily pleased they are. Now, in my background layers there, you can see I've gone back and I've tucked in some blue pieces. Now, those blue pieces there's some labels and some little cards and things. They're all from this month's exclusive printables for subscribers. And I wanted to pull more of that blue colour in, so it was easy just to use the printables that I already had ready to go, ready cut, and just tuck them into the layers. Now, to the right of my photo, I actually used that Good Vibes sticker from the Heidi Swap Old School cardstock stickers as my page title. And I popped a bit of foam tape on the back of that just to help pop it up from the page. And then behind it, I tucked that cute little palm tree sticker because I thought that worked because we were in a beach setting there. So I just tucking that in behind the Good Vibes one. And then I've got a blue handmade heart from Charms Creations, which again helped draw in all of that blue colour that I had, because there wasn't a lot of that blue that I was using actually in the materials in the kit, but there was in the printables. So the printables saved the day here. Now I'm just going back and I'm looking for more stickers, more labels, lots more little bits and pieces. You can see that I've stuck that phrase sticker, happiness looks good on you, just along the bottom edge of the photo. I am a huge fan of embellishing directly onto your photos wherever you can. If you find yourself with a bit of negative space in your photo, in the corner, something that needs to be covered up, just put an embellishment over it. But there's no reason these days that you need to worry about things being acid-free or touching your photos or anything like that. I've got all of these photos digital, and if anything happened to them, I could simply reprint it. It's not really a big deal to me. So anyway, I'm going back now with the Pink Fresh Studio Floral Ephemera pack from the, I think it's Days of Splendor. And I'm just pulling out a few little flowers and leaves and things just to help create those three main embellishment clusters. So you can see I've got my title cluster on the right. I'm going to tuck a floral piece in above my photo on the left corner there. And then I'm going to tuck one in along the bottom edge as well, just to create that visual triangle to frame in around my photo. So I've got stickers, I've got printables, I've got ephemera pieces, and you'll see that I fiddle around a little bit. I'm using my Scotch tacky glue in my fine line bottle just to fix things onto the page. But you'll note that I don't stick them all the way to the edge. I just put a dab of glue underneath, and then I always bend the edges up away from the page just to give it some extra dimension. So I'm just grabbing the Heidi Swap phrase stickers there just to see if there's anything else I can put on the page. And it was a fairly simple one to put together, this. Fairly simple. Where am I? Oh, that's right. Splatter. There's always got to be splatter. No, the reason I went with splatter on this one particularly was because you can see there's quite a bit of black, and I just wanted the black to be tied into the background. I felt like that background was looking quite sort of stark with all the layers on top of it. So I used my brush in two ways. I flicked it at the page first to create those big splatters because I really wanted some big droplets and a bit sort of grungier. And then I went back and tapped along my brush just to give me those really small splatters. And that was it. Thanks for watching.